I think most people would agree that talking to a camera is just not natural. It's hard to do if it's not something you're used to. And if you're close to my age, I'm in my mid-50s, you didn't grow up with a camera in your face all the time, or one in your pocket, like we all have one in our pocket these days, it seems, in our phones. You know, maybe our kids did, right? My kids had phones since they were early teenagers and have been making videos since then. But, you know, us older folks, if you want to call us old, we're not old, we're midlife, we're just not used to it. So it's awkward, right? So when you go to make your first YouTube video, you probably ran into the same thing I did. You press record and then you freeze. You look at the camera and you freeze. Like, what do I say? So like when I first did that, I realized, okay, I think I'm going to need a script, right? Incorrectly realized that, but I'll get to that. So I went down the road of writing out a script and then trying to record myself delivering that script. Well, if you don't have a teleprompter, I don't know how good your memory is, but for me, I had to memorize line by line. So I would record line by line and look down and I'll look up and record another line. And that ended up being horrible, right? So, and even then, like I would record each line multiple times. So you can imagine how long that recording ended up being. At least I kept the recording going the whole time, right? So you know, you don't have to resync everything and whatnot. But anyways, it still involved a lot of cutting, deleting, and tying things together. And the end result was it wasn't natural, right? It was all choppy. Real quick, I want to mention today's sponsor, Nexus Clips. If you're a content creator and you're only posting long-form content, you're leaving a lot of potential audience on the table. A lot of people discover creators today on short-form content, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Instagram Reels. But keeping up with that can feel overwhelming. That's why I'm using Nexus Clips. It takes my long-form videos, finds the best moments, reframes them vertically, and adds animated subtitles automatically, which matters because a lot of people watch short-form content without sound. It honestly removes the friction of clipping content, so sharing short-form content daily actually becomes doable. Keep focusing your time on your long-form videos and use Nexus Clips for short-form. If your content is already good, this is one of the best ways to grow your personal brand. So give Nexus Clips a try today. I've got a link in the description below. So then I went and I bought a teleprompter. Bought a teleprompter, I thought this is the answer, right? I can look right at the lens and through that I'm looking at the words that scroll as you speak, right? It's kind of cool the way it works. And still had to write a script, right? And then I would do it that way. But then what I ran into is as I'm reading, well, a couple things. Number one, it's really hard to write a script in the way that you actually speak. Okay, so like everybody's got their own mannerisms. I say and ah a lot, right? But when I'm reading a script, if there's no ums and ahs in there, I don't read them, right? I just read what's on the script. So that right there will tell you that it's not gonna sound or look as natural as if I was just talking to a camera like I'm doing right now. Now, not to say that this video is not gonna have some edits. I still do some edits from time to time, but anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. I went down the teleprompter road, rabbit hole, I guess, if you will. But what I found was when I watched it back, it also didn't sound natural, or sorry, it didn't look natural or sound natural, right? I just looked robotic. It looked like I was reading. And unless you have the teleprompter set far enough back and the lens, like if you have a teleprompter set far enough back and then you zoom the lens to kind of bring yourself closer, appear closer. That's a handy way, and this is the first tip, I guess, if you want to go down the teleprompter road. That's a good way to eliminate, like, for it to not look like you're reading. You won't see your eyeballs going back and forth reading lines, right? Whereas if you use a lens where the camera is nice and close to you, then you're gonna see, right? You're gonna see the eyes moving, or even your head moving as you're reading. So that's a tip, but I'm not suggesting that you go out and buy a teleprompter. I had to in order to figure out how to do this the right way. But what I found when I watched those videos back was that I was still awkward. I didn't look like myself. And forget for a moment the fact that when we first see ourselves on camera, we don't usually like what we see or hear, like the actual sound of our voice or what we look like, right? let's get over that. That's another video. Let's assume we're past that. But the looking unnatural, right? Here's something. When you're looking at a teleprompter and reading, right, you have to be looking at the lens the whole time. You're essentially staring at people in their eyes. You're staring at them. And that could feel uncomfortable to the viewer, right? Like think about if you're with somebody, like not through a camera, but you're just sitting with somebody and you're talking to them. If you're talking to them, do you typically stare at them, like into their eyes the whole time? Not usually. I mean, maybe you do, I don't. And if somebody's talking to me and if they're staring at me the whole time, I'll typically look away. Like I'm horrible at eye staring contests. I would lose. So, but anyways, just something that makes me feel uncomfortable, right? So if you try to think of your viewers when you're making videos, you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable, so don't stare at them. Well, if you're making a video with a teleprompter, you kind of are, the end result is going to be that you are staring at them, okay? So there's that. That's part of it, I guess, looking awkward. When you watch that back, you'll look awkward. So a couple things I did that helped me turn the corner and get over this. One, I stopped using the teleprompter. Now that, you know, call it a waste of money if you will. I don't consider it that because I actually do still use it from time to time if I'm delivering an ad read or something like that. But the first thing I did, because if you think about it, why do we want to use a teleprompter anyways? It's probably because you don't want to forget what you want to say. Okay, that was my issue, right? I wanted to make sure I said everything that I wanted to say. So how do we get past that if we don't have a teleprompter? Well, the first thing I did was I wrote notes. And I don't mean long written out notes. I meant like one line at a time, bullet points, right? One-liners, and I only wrote 3 or 4 of them on one page, and I wrote them big so that I can see them. My eyes aren't great. I need readers, right? So I wrote these notes and I taped it to my tripod. This first video that I'm thinking about, the first video where I went unscripted, and that video did really, really well. This is what I did. I did it in my office, tripod set up, and I was sitting in a chair, and I was kind of leaning into the camera, and I had my bullet points taped on a piece of paper, taped to my tripod. So right below the camera. Okay, so it was accessible in case I needed to refer to them. It didn't mean I wasn't going to use it as a crutch throughout the whole video. And it was really hard to do this, like, because I was thinking the video, I was aiming for like 10 to 15 minutes. It ended up being like 25 minutes long. But even before I started, I was thinking, do I have enough written down to make a 10-minute video? That's what I was worried about. So I put these bullet points in a place where I could refer to them if I had to. But then the second thing I did is, and this is a little bit more mental, is I thought of a close friend. I thought of a close friend of mine who doesn't do YouTube at all, okay? He doesn't understand it. He may not even watch videos. I don't know. It's not something we talk about. But I pictured him. See, my video was gonna be basically answering some questions to try to help people out with YouTube, okay? So what I thought in my head, I was thinking, okay, what if this friend of mine who doesn't know anything about YouTube asked me these questions? Say, and I had 2 or 3 questions thought out, and so that was kind of going to be the title of the video. I thought. I don't think it ended up being the title, but no, it did. It was why people over 40 must start a YouTube channel. Okay, why I think people over 40 must start a YouTube channel. That was the title. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, my friend just asked me this question. I'm over 40, why should I start a YouTube channel? Right? Like, let's pretend he just asked me that. All right? Then I sit down, press record, and I answer the question. Always thinking of him. Okay? That's the mental state that I put myself in that I think really helped turn the corner. Now, a third tip is just to take it one step further. Don't just think of a friend like that. Like, yeah, think of a friend, but think of a specific friend. What I want to say is, think of somebody that you would be really happy to see. Okay? And that's like the final piece of the puzzle before you sit down and deliver whatever you want to say. Pretend like you are really happy to see this person. Okay? And that's huge too, because I mean, the last thing I said, that's going to help you talk with a little more confidence and a little bit more like you. So you want to put yourself in the mindset like, hey, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a long time. What's new? What's new with me? Oh, I'm actually getting into YouTube. I'm helping people over 40 get into YouTube and kind of coaching them and stuff like that. So then I'm thinking, okay, oh, why should people over 40 get into YouTube? I'm happy you asked. And there you go, right? Like, if you can put yourself in that happy mindset, you're really happy to see this person, that will put a smile on your face, that will make you more approachable, okay, instead of guarded, right? Like when we see strangers, if you try to picture yourself answering a question from a stranger, you may appear, whether you know it or not, you may appear a little more guarded, a little more reserved, okay? But you don't want that. You don't want that on YouTube. You want to come across as happy, jovial, pleasant, smiling, right? Like that's, and you know what? I might be trying to put you all in a box right now, and I don't mean to do that. This is what's worked for me. If I am in a happy mood and life is great, you know, just happy thoughts, right? If that is the last thing that you can put in your mind before you sit down and record a video, I think you'll be happy with the results, or happier. It's still going to seem a little bit awkward, and it's not going to happen right away. I'm not saying for a minute that, you know, the first time you do this, everything should work and you're going to get, you know, millions of views. Not necessarily. It's something you have to work on. Like I said, the first time I did this, I had really good results. And maybe it was because I already had a bunch of videos on my channel where I was more reserved and I was reading from, you know, a teleprompter at times, and my videos were manufactured. But maybe that was okay because they were more how-to videos anyways, where I was sharing my screen and showing people how to do certain things with video editing. So you know, I had a history of making videos like that. Then I made this video where I put myself in a happy to see you mindset, thinking about a friend and answering a question as if he just asked it to me. And it came across pretty normal. The last thing I'll say, that when I made that video, I was also incredibly upfront with you. Like when I made the video, I was looking at the lens, and I came right out and I said, like, this is going to be the first time I make a video like this. I hope it goes okay. I hope you understand if I mess up here and there. You may see me make a mistake or two, trip over my words. And hey, if I say something that you don't agree with, let me know in the comments below, right? So, and here we go. And then I said then I think I said, wow, this is kind of awkward. And I jokingly, I joked like that with you, okay, when I sat down and made that video. I'll link to that video from this one so you can have a look if you want. And it's funny too, because when I compare that video, like at the time, this is a year and a half ago, at the time when I made that video, if I compared that video to the ones I had been making up until then, it's night and day. You can tell that I was more relaxed and I was more me. But now, if I compare the videos I'm making today, a year and a half later, to that one a year and a half ago, even though that one is, I think it's still my second best performing video ever, I can tell that I was nervous in that video, and I can see that I've improved since then. So what I'm trying to say is, the first time you do this, you may not have success, like I kind of did with my first time I did that. But then I regressed a bit. My videos started not doing as well, but then they've come back. But yeah, so the first time you do it, you may not have success. But what I will say is the first time you do it will be the first time you appear more you, more natural. And also it's the first practice, right? Like every video you make including the first one you do like this without a script, is practice. It's all practice. It's all like, again, I just made a video the other day where I talk about YouTube being a journey. It really is. Like, I'm still not where I want to be. No, I didn't say that right. I'm exactly where I want to be. But I know I'm going to get better at making videos the more that I make. Okay? You're always exactly where you want to be. Well, no, maybe that's not right. What I'm trying to say. It's a journey. Okay? It's a journey, and along that journey you will get better, right? With each additional video, hopefully you get better. That's the goal, right? Or that's something you should strive to do. Try to get better with each video that you make. And then every once in a while you can sit back and compare your latest video to maybe 10, 15, 50 videos ago and see how far you've come, right? So anyways, I'm starting to blab now. I hope you found this helpful. Like, I'm talking to a camera, I think, is the best way to grow a channel because you come across as authentic. It's not that you come across as authentic, it's you being authentic. You're actually being authentic. Like, you shouldn't have to try to be authentic. You know what I mean? I mean, it helps to practice because you're being authentic in front of a camera. That's hard to do. So who walks around talking to the camera all the time? Not many. So yeah, so it does take some practice, but the definition of authenticity is just being yourself. And if you can get to a place where you are being yourself and that's coming through the camera and coming across to your viewers, then you're going to start to see some good results. So anyways, that's all I've got today. My name is Rob. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for watching. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's great to have you here again. Yeah, you might notice the surroundings are a little bit different. So I'm on vacation right now, and I'll be back in a couple of weeks where the water is much colder. Hopefully the snow will be gone by the time I get back. All right. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, I haven't seen you in a long time. It's so great to see you. Oh, you want to know about YouTube? Hey, haven't seen you in a long time. Great to see you. Haven't